Hi guys, it's Saber from HA Images. In today's video, I'll be showing you step by step in how I capture my macro shots and the gear I use specifically capturing my macros. So stay tuned. The most essential thing to have with a when you're doing macro shots, obviously, is a camera. Now, any camera can do macros, Sony, Canon, Nikon, Pentax, Fuji, as long as you have a true macro lens. Now, what I've decided to shoot with, which is, I shoot Sony, as majority of you will know, and I'll explain to you as I go into the video why I love Sony and the features I love about Sony. So one of the best features that they've got, I will be utilizing it a lot in the macro shots. But I'm using the a7rii due to the megapixels, 42 megapixel. It gives me a lot more detail in terms of my images, especially with macro. With low light images, I intend to use my Sony a7S II, as I do find that the a7S II handles noise better than the a7rii. The a7rii, they say when you downsample it, you get the same sort of noise as the a7S II, but personal preference, I've always sort of leaned to the a7S II. Another thing I've got here is a 90mm FE macro lens, which is the true 1:1 ratio macro lens. It's got these functions where you can shoot close up to its full, the full closest that it can go, and I've got the mid, where you can actually switch it to mid, and that is what I use to shoot my portraits. This is what I love about the lens, is that I can utilize it for portraits as well as macro. And then you've got full, as if you got subjects further away from you, then that's when you tend to use full. You've got the focus hold button. So if you're using autofocus, especially macros, you focus, autofocus, and then you press the focus hold button, and you can compose your shot to however you want it. And you've also got another benefit with this lens is steady shot, which is what I'll leave on. Another essential to have as well, it's not a must-have, but it is good to have. You have the Godox ML-150 macro ring flash, which is what I have. I love my macro shots, and good thing about the ring flash, especially the Godox one, it is very lightweight, very simple to set up. It's not hard, and what it does, when you're taking a normal macro shot without the flash, you'll have shadows in your images. Unwanted shadows especially. With the macro ring flash, it will eliminate those unwanted shadows, getting a nice even light in it, but without overexposing or without overpowering on the subject. This is the Godox ML-150. Very simple to set up. You've got the ring adapters where it comes with it. It's from 49mm to 67mm, so it will cater for lenses within that filter size. That's pretty simple. It's just the flash part, and then you've got the back where it's got the groove part, where it will then attach to your adapter and it just clicks in. It's very secure, it's not flimsy. This is the actual flash unit itself. It has goes from full power to 1/16. It's attached to the ring flash through the wire cable. It takes 4 AA batteries, which I use the any loop recharger batteries. They, I find, tend to last a lot longer than the standard AA batteries. That will be mounted through the horseshoe on the top of the camera. So that's basically it. Nice, easy, quick to set up. Nothing very hard, nothing very complicated. Now I will go through with you in taking some shots and showing you more detail. One thing I do love about the Sony cameras, the main feature that I love a lot is focus peaking. Works well for macro, portraits, any other sort of shots you want to do. So what happens is when you sort of get into focus, as you can see, all that red line that's around the flowers on the stem, the leaf, the branch, all that is focus peaking. So with Canon and Nikon, you can't, when you focus, you sort of kind of using your eye and trying to guess, make sure it's in focus. So once you take the shot, you gotta sort of zoom in, inspect the image, make sure it's all in focus. Where Sony, it's allowing you to make it a bit more easier and quicker by adding focus peaking, so you can see how everything is in focus. When I say I do with portraits, I'm not necessarily talking about manual focus, but what happens is that in
I can get it from the car. I got it.
when it's in autofocus, you can actually set up DMF. DMF is actually autofocus but has the manual override. So when I'm actually in focus, as you can see, it's actually have all the red lines. So it's giving me the manual focus and autofocus in one. So especially if I'm using IAF or if I'm just shooting an event or portraits or whatever, I know my subject's in focus. I know it's not going to be missing its focus. So this is what another thing I love. I use the DMF in all events, weddings, portraits, and then I'll switch it to obviously manual focus when I'm doing close-up detail shots. So as you can see, it's now everything's in focus, where the red lines is more in your face. Obviously it's windy, so what I intend to do, I always tend to shoot 1/250th of a second, especially when it's a moving subject, making sure it's all in focus. Now I've turned the macro ring flash on. I tend to shoot my macros at f6.3 to f9, depending on what I want in focus. Now, being a macro lens, a lot of people, some beginners as well, think, okay, shoot f2.8 because you get the shallow depth of field. But because it's a macro lens, it already has a shallow depth of field. So if you shoot at 6.3, you're still getting that shallow depth of field as you would as a f2.8, but you're getting more stuff in focus. What we'll do, we'll get everything in focus while it's calm. We can use the magnification tool to assist us as well if we want. There we go. That should have it. And then we take a shot and we see. So as you can see, everything is nicely exposed, the background and the flowers. So if I go in and I go into the zoom in, you can see the detail in the stems, how everything is nice and focused, as well as nicely exposed as well compared to the background. And you can see at f6.3 how it's still got a really nice shallow depth of field. Now another thing, what I'll do, I'll just up the ISO just to kind of show you exactly what I'm talking about. What I love about the, obviously focus peaking, especially when you're doing focus stacking, which is another technique used in macros. For example, I'm focusing here. Now, say if I want all this part here in focus, but still have this shallow depth of field on that side and a bit on the other side as well on the top. Now, being a macro lens, if I now, for example, I go and I focus on that. As you can see, the focus peaking is showing me what's in focus. I take the shot. It's a bit bright, let me just drop. I take the shot. Now, all it shows in focus is that little branch and that there. So all here's got that shallow depth of field where it sort of blurs out. Focus stacking will allow me to sort of get that in focus, that in focus. So it just sort of depends on what perspective you're trying to show in your subject, but that's generally what focus stacking does. So I'll just adjust. So now it's a bit dark because obviously I'm underexposing because I'm using the flash to sort of break up the shadows. So if I'm going to be focus peaking, I have started on the edge of the here. So if I then take a shot, and then what I'll do is I'll focus more in, bring in the focus. As you can see, the focus peaking part has then moved further in towards the camera right. So then I'll take another shot, and I'll get in another one, continue, another one, And I'll go one more. So now, taking all that shot, you can see the focus pull, what is in focus. So that is what I love about focus peaking as well, in terms of taking my macro shots. What I'll do now, I'll quickly go into the computer with you guys, and I will show you how you can put together a focus stacked image to get everything in focus, and I'll show you a before and after of it. Now I'll be showing you how to put the stacked images together, making to this one image, showing a whole part in focus instead of this little parts. What you'll do, you go File, Script, and you go Load Files into Stack. Go Browse, wherever you have your images saved, you go there into that folder and you select your images. Then you go Open. Once they've loaded up, you click on Attempt to automatically align source images. Tick that, and then you go OK. Then now what Photoshop is trying to do is attempting to align the images so that all the focus parts are all together, making the whole part on the bark in focus. Now once that's done, what you'll do is you select the top image and you select all. Then you go to Edit, and you go down and you go Auto Blend Layers. Since the images are all lined and they've stacked, you go Auto Blend Layers. Make sure you click, have Stack Images ticked, and then you go OK. What it is now trying to do is blend the layers together, so then it will form this one file where all the bark is in focus. There you have it. So you've got from where I started here, the focus peaking. I started here in focus, and then I did one by one right through the bark. So as you can see, there is more of the image that is more in focus than what it was. So there you have it, guys. Nice, quick, simple way of stacking images when you're doing macros. Well, hope this video really helps you guys in terms of how to capture macro shots and using the macro ring flash from Godox. It is an awesome ring flash, very light, very portable. Go out and you want to do macro shots. Now being spring, I'll be doing a lot of macro shots with different things. If you want to add a bit of effect to your macro images, you can also bring a spray bottle and you can just sort of spray a bit of water in it just to have a bit of raindrops. I'm a bit daring. When it rains, I kind of will jump in the rain while it's raining or just after it rains with my gear to start taking some shots, as I like how Mother Nature places the raindrops opposed to being man-made, for example. But then I have protective gear for my my gear to avoid getting it wet. So do check the links, my affiliated links below. They have on my links below is the gear I used and what I've used, especially the Godox ring flash if you're interested in it. If you find this video helpful, please do like, share and subscribe this video, share it with your friends, and stay tuned, and we'll see you on the next video. See you guys. Say bye.
Bye.
Wave.
Bye. Bye.